guys, in the fast lane here. In this video, I'm going to be going over waterproofing a camper. Now, a lot of water damage happens underneath and sometimes on top, but in this case, I had four corners on the bottom of it. It had OSD or OSB board, and that's oriented strand board. It's the kind of board that has fibers kind of pressed and glued together, and when it gets wet, it kind of turns into a piece of bread in a bowl of water. Just expands and it's ruined. Now with this wood, basically what I did is I used Flex Seal black in the gallon jug or the gallon container. I used fiberglass resin, and I also used Minwax wood hardener. Now I'll go over those three products. This isn't a sponsorship or anything. This is just products that I did a lot of research on, and it worked very well for what I needed it to do. Basically with this camper, I picked it up about 6 months ago. Came back from North Carolina. It was beautiful up there, and I want to go back. So I don't want to spend all kinds of money on hotels and apartments and stuff. So I figured, why not get a camper, a pop-up camper? So I picked this up for a really good deal, and I went ahead and overhauled it. Gutted the whole thing, ripped out the floor in 4 places, went ahead and patched them up with 5/8 plywood, and then put 2x4 in the middle of it and kind of stitched it together with screws on either side where the split was, so the floor wouldn't space out. It has all new cabinetry, 100% redone, all laminate and granite laminate countertops. I had to make the whole galley with the sink and the stove 100% from scratch with the bars. I had to weld up a bar, bend it, so when you grab the galley and you pick it, you can set it on the floor with all of the plumbing and everything, and then the propane lines. It was a big job, but I have a lot of pictures of it, and I'll probably do just an overall coverage video down the road on it. As for the front cubby, went ahead and rebuilt that whole thing, stripped it all out, all the plastic and everything, and ripped out all the OSB board. It was all, just totally waterlogged and damaged. So let's go ahead and have a look. I pretty much finished it. I don't actually have the gallon jug of the Flex Seal, but I have some of the overspray kind of landed on my tray. It's really rubberized. Really good stuff. I'm not, right off the top of my head, I'm not sure about the warranty on it. I think it's a lifetime warranty. I could be wrong, but it's a little more pricier. There was a few other options. I'll get into that here in a second about the other options I had. Here's what I used, just a quick little setup. It's this roller brush right here. The type of roller, basically, I used a multi-surface roller. If you use the sponge ones, like sponge-like material, it's not good at all. It gets hard real quick, and you don't get most of the Flex Seal out of the roller, and then it becomes kind of wasted. So I use these microfiber ones. All this stuff's going to be on my website. If you purchase this stuff on my website, it helps out my channel, so I'd appreciate it if you'd buy it there. Plus, it's really good price. I have an Amazon store, so it'll be in the Fast Lane Amazon store. If you're on my YouTube channel, it's underneath. I always post the link to my store in the top comments or under the description in the video. If you're on my website, it's underneath the video. Say shop this video. For the brush, check this out. This is the Flex Seal dried up on this brush, and you cannot even move the brushes, the little bristles. I mean, look at that. It's literally, it feels like a rubber basketball. Really good stuff. So this was, I forget what size this is. This is a 6-inch, 3/8 inch for the roller. Just got a pan, and that's pretty much it. I used a small little brush too. So let me show you the results. Now this is the Flex Seal. As you can see, I mean, it's pretty rubberized. It's really good stuff. Here's the 2x4s I had placed there. If you can see here, this is plywood, and then right here, that's the OSB board, the fiber board, where they just put a bunch of pieces together and glue it. But it's really, really rubberized. 1 gallon did this entire camper, all underneath. And not to mention, I pulled the beds out and did underneath the beds also. I'll show you that here in a little bit. I have a little piece of advice and tip for you guys on the beds as well for hardening up the wood and waterproofing it. Now if you have a look here, I mean, this stuff You can't scratch it with your nail or nothing. It's solid. And I put it on really thick too, so 1 gallon really worked out really well. They have the spray Flex Seal, but it just wouldn't be this thick. I mean, this is, you can even run your hand over it like this and never catch a splinter. So you know how this OSB board is. You run your finger, you're gonna snag a splinter, but look, nothing. Just, I could hit this with the pressure washer and not even be concerned about it. That's how good quality that stuff is. Since we happen to be under here, I'll go ahead and show you what I did. Now this right here is plywood, and then over here is the OSB board. So basically I took some commercial adhesive and I just kind of zigzagged it over the 2x4. I stuck the 2x4 between where the split of the plywood and the OSB board is, and then I screwed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on top. But what I did is I put a car jack under there and pressed this board up and squished out some of the commercial adhesive and then screwed it from the top. And it's solid as a rock, and your two boards won't split from each other when you step on it. So you can jump on this or anything and it's no problem at all. So if you guys ever have to do a floor patch, go on ahead and throw a 2x4 under there with a jack under it and then get inside the camper and screw it. Now here just happens to be a little bit of oversplash of the Flex Seal, but as you can see here, that's what it is. It's rubberized paint. Really good stuff. Now the other product that I was going to be using was Kool Seal. I read a lot of reviews on Kool Seal, and Kool Seal pretty much great stuff, $35 a gallon. But it just probably didn't have the elasticness or the rubberness as the Flex Seal. I mean, we're talking $35. Kool Seal's a great product from what I've researched. I haven't quite used it yet, but I do plan on using it on roofs. They have a Kool Seal that reflects the heat, brings down the temperature, and I talked to a guy that puts it on all of his aluminum trailers, and he says it brings it down 20 degrees. Hands down. That's what he told me, so I'm just going by his word. But $35, and it is waterproofing compared to $89, but I just don't think you're going to get too much better than this Flex Seal. So this is what I used, and I'm really happy that I used it. Now another thing you could use with the Flex Seal is on chassis. Vehicle chassis that are rusted out, you can just roll them right over, you know, get the rust off and roll it, and it'll protect the metal. Now this, I actually used Rust-Oleum High Heat Ultra. This is the glossy version of the grill paint. Most of the grill paint, if you look at the black, it's a flat color, but the Ultra, that's the glossy type, and it actually is a little bit better than the non-glossy, and it costs a little bit more. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's about $3 more. But great product also, so kind of throw that in for anybody that's trying to waterproof and rust protect as well. Now here's what it did when I sprayed the drum. I took this drum off and I repacked the bearings, because that's another thing you really want to do when you buy a trailer. Immediately repack the bearings. You definitely don't want to have a blowout with a bearing on a road trip and be a bad day. Anyhow, so pretty much I used the Rust-Oleum Ultra Heat on these, and you can see how nice they came out. Really good product. So if you are painting your drums and your axles and your leaf springs, definitely get this as your product. Everything, like I said, is in the shopping cart under my video, and it helps me out. This is the setup I used to paint the top. I didn't want to go with any kind of paint or Flex Seal, because when it heats up and you have a really nice mattress on here, let's say you spend a couple $100s on a mattress, well, you're going to get the paint on the bottom. Eventually it's going to stick. Maybe storing it outside, the inside temperatures get up there, and you're gonna have, it's just gonna ruin your mattress. So what I chose to do is not to paint it, but I use this Minwax high performance wood hardener. And basically what it says is it penetrates deep into the wood, reinforces soft wood fibers, forms solid base for filling. So what I wanted to do is harden it and at the same time seal it. The first go around I decided to use a roller. Well, that was a bad idea, because by the time I would dip it into the pan and come out here and roll it, I'd get back to the pan and it would be bone dry. This stuff evaporates very quickly. So what I did is I went and got a commercial spray bottle, filled it up, and then I just went ahead and misted it. I turned it on, not the sharp mist, but the big mist. Adjusted the nozzle and just misted everything. And this, in one bottle, did this 2 coats. So I did half of this with one bottle before when I was rolling it. I highly suggest you get yourself a commercial spray bottle and do it that way. As for other areas, I would do a little dab, maybe touching the corner, but I mainly use the brush for the fiberglass resin. And I'll show you a spot over here that I touched up with the fiberglass resin. Basically, it's fiberglass resin with the hardener right here. And it's basically just a rough estimate. You fill this up to right about here, and you put about 8 to 10 drops in there and then mix it, and that'll give you a nice ratio. That's what I found. Now this right here, this is the beds, the pull-out beds. As you can see, they slide out, and I went ahead and painted these also with the Flex Seal. It did the front and the back. The front bed is a king size, and this is a full size. But as you can see, it came out really great, and you're not going to have to worry about any kind of water damaging this OSB board. So that was a big problem. I mean, OSB board swells up if it gets wet. And on the top, I'll show you here in a minute, I actually had a little bit of swelling, and I'll show you what I did to fix it. Here was an initial spot that was really soft. I mean, you could push and hear the wood crunch, and now it's solid as a rock. I basically took some resin, mixed it up, and then just dabbed it in there. I would suggest doing this before you put the wood hardener in there, because it might seal the wood and not allow the resin to absorb these fibers. So go ahead and put this on first, let it dry 24 to 48 hours, and then go right ahead and spray it with the Minwax. But this is what I did, and it really is going to allow this wood to last a long time. A lot of folks might suggest, why don't you just replace it with plywood? Well, these sheets are big. Like the one at the front, it's just a one piece, and it's like 76 inches wide by like 6.5 feet long. You can't get a piece of plywood cut out like that at the local hardware store. So you're going to have to either fix this or do a 2-piece, and I wouldn't want to have to do a 2-piece. So I only had a few spots here on the side that was giving me problems, and now solid as a rock. Well, if you enjoy camping as much as I do and have done a few fix-it-yourselfers, go ahead and comment below and just let us know what you're up to. I'm sure you've done a lot of fixing yourself, and you've probably acquired a few tricks of the trade. I know I have, and this has been a pretty good project that I've worked on for past 5 months straight. Put a lot of hours into it. Next, I'm doing the roof. I'm getting ready to, I'm going to use some Grizzly grip. I'll probably do a video on that too later. It's kind of automotive-y. I mean, this thing's got drum brakes and axles and leaf springs, so automotive category. I'm going to go ahead and publish it up on my In the Fast Lane channel. So stay tuned for more, and hey, don't forget to like and subscribe.